Hey friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 46 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. Hi everyone, we're really close to a year of episodes. I just realized that while I was looking to see what number this is. I started filming just after Flock last year, so I didn't really do much Flock content. I did obviously going to Flock, but that was the first year of Flock, and this is now going to be a whole year of the podcast, and I'm excited to give you lots more info about Flock, especially because, again, I have a wonderful friend working for La Mercerie. That's fun. But also it's going to be, we have ideas of things that we already want to do, even though it's in a new venue. We're going to get some friends together, going to get to know more people in the knitting community, hopefully meet some of you. So yeah, I will do a little bit more of a lead up, but let's talk through the normal podcast things. It is Thursday, June 20th. I know what day it is. Because Mike and I went to the Women's PGA Championship today, and we spent all day watching golf things, and it was very nice. It was lovely to be outside. It was a little bit hot, which is not something I've really had to utter about our summer yet this year, so it was fun. I got a little sun. We were wearing sunglasses, hats, and I did put on sunblock twice, but I got a little bit of sun right here. So it's good I'm wearing this top today because it covers it all up. Let's see. I have this new finished object from last week I'm wearing for us to talk about. I don't have any pictures in this yet, and I'm losing light here, so I don't know that I'm going to get any today. So there may not be a picture of me fully standing up when we talk about this pattern in 1 second, but I'll get those up on the grid, etc. In the near future. I have a finished object, and I have a couple of new cast-ons. Yes, at least one. So we have things to talk about, and I have kind of a teaser yarn situation. I have a sample that I knew was coming. I have to show it black and white, and I haven't started anything yet. So I'll tell you what I'm going to make. I'll flash it up black and white. You can see how much yarn there is, but I can't show the colors, and I can't really talk about the collection yet, but I will tell you who, etc. So let's dive right into it. Today I am wearing the Sundial top by Iris H, who is Iris Makes. I am an affiliate for Iris. It is a very chill program. I have a link if you'd like coupons to her patterns. Otherwise, just, I'm going to be making some more of her designs this year. I think I'll probably make at least one more. I get a little bit, I get to be in test knits if I want to. I'm sure she'll have at least one more test this year. She had one tank top and one t-shirt I did not join, just with timing, but yeah, so I will stand up so we can talk about this. Okay, I'm gonna crouch a little bit so you can see all of me. So this is a circular yoke top down t-shirt. It's already it's a little wrinkly just because I kind of threw it on my shelf for the week, but it's a broken rib spines through it, so it's not like, there are some others that like maybe are dip stitches, or they're just the knit inside out and have the knit stitch pulled up throughout to make the spine. I did a Sunbeam by Knititude like that. I really like that this goes the full length of the body. I think that's actually really flattering, and I think like the way that they're spaced, the way they grow is also just like really nice. I don't know, it looks intentional. I did make some mods, which I'll talk about when I sit down, but otherwise, like, here it is in all its, I have a lot of hair, sorry, in all its glory. It's cute. I think it's pretty flattering. It is fitted, which we'll talk about sizing in a second too when I sit down. But I think like overall, I really like the way it came out. You can see my increases. That's probably more me than it is the pattern. Like, I don't think Iris's in her sample are quite so noticeable. I don't mind it because of where they sit along these, as it grows along the spine. So it's fine. The yarn is a tiny bit see-through, which I don't know if you can tell, but I can in like my regular mirror, which we'll talk about that in a second too. So yeah, overall pretty good. You can see my 2-color line. It's not that noticeable. noticeable. It's okay. Let's talk about all of the things. First, the size. So this is a size 5. It's 44 inches. It is supposed to have, or suggested to have, 0 to -3 inches of ease. This is -3 for me. I really actually like how it sits on the body too. Like it's not, it doesn't feel like it's sucking me in, but it is sitting pretty flat along my whole body. This is made with 3mm needles for the body, 2.5 for all of the ribbing, except for the sleeves. I did not change my needle for that. And the yarn is Explore Knits & Fibers Cashmere Caverns Fingering in Grapefruit. It is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 435 yards per 100 grams. It's one of my favorite bases to work with. It's a 4-ply. It just feels so soft. Even when you're like, if I look down at my chest, I can see that it has like a fuzz halo, like much more than 100% merino or something that's merino nylon. It also feels really nice when you're knitting with it. And right now I'm knitting with 75%, 25% superwash merino nylon from Junie & Sai, which we'll talk about in a second. But like the experience of knitting, it does feel like that yarn feels like far less soft than this. I'm gonna really like wearing that too, and this will pill more. So like, you know, there's a lot of give and take with the fibers that you choose to use. But that 10% cashmere, like people think like, is 10% gonna make a difference? Like, yes it will. It is very soft. For a summer top that has no holes in it, like it's probably gonna be a little bit warmer also, but like Pacific Northwest summers and springs, like I'm okay with that. I think it's fine. So mods I made. Oh, this does have short row shaping, so that is nice. And I actually think I was worried when I was just making the shape. I was like, whoa, this looks like a lot. Like it's gonna sit really high on the back of my neck, but I actually think it sits perfectly, like exactly how the picture looks. Like it is a high neck t-shirt, but it's not like creeping up my neck. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't have to tug it a lot to get it in the right place. I think it sits nice. For the sleeves, I modded, I guess the breakdown I did was I was worried that the sleeves for size 5 would be a tiny bit tight. And I'm glad I did what I did. But I modded so that when you start your last increase row, it's an increase in the middle of the spine actually, instead of to one side or to either side. So I, like in the middle of the stockinette section. So I did 2 for all the ones that would be on the sleeve, just by counting, you know, each section that I would have for the split. And then you do some more rows after that, right? But like I just added several more rows. And then when I picked up in the underarm, I added 4 stitches. So instead of just skipping kind of the corner sections, I picked up 2 stitches in each corner section. So that gave me a total of, I think, 12 or 13 extra stitches overall. And that is good. That was like 1.5 inches or 2 inches extra. And I think it fits really nice. I mean, it sits close to my arms. It's not sucking me in. Good. I also decided not to go down a needle size for the cuff. Yes, like I said, when I was standing up there, you can tell that they're different colors. While I'm going about my life, like, definitely don't care. I'm not going to care at all. I'm not even going to care for pictures. It's going to be fine. Will I wear this a lot? This is not a Megan color. I still really like it. I really like the make. And yes, I will wear it. Will I wear it as much as some of my other summer t-shirts? Like maybe, maybe not. I don't have a lot of fingering t-shirts right now. Something that I will continue to make, because even though I get anxious and excited for summer makes and I want to make things in DK because they'll go so much faster, I know I'll wear fingering weight things more. So it's a continual goal of mine to just make some more t-shirt type things in fingering weight. So yeah, overall I'm super pleased. This pattern, so my first Iris H pattern, like Iris Makes pattern, was this behind me, the Sweet Shop cardigan chunky, and that pattern was relatively sparse. Again, it was a very simple concept, and there's not a lot of rows to actually make your thing, plus not as many sizes because the range is big because of the gauge. This had far more instructions, but I don't think she overkilled it on the explanations of things. Again, everybody has what they like to do in a pattern. This is somewhere between like a beginner American pattern where there's lots of explanation and a sparse European pattern. I think it's like kind of, for me, it's like a happy middle because it gives you enough instructions to do everything, but you don't need to read a lot or skip a ton of extra text to just get to the next section. To each their own, right? Like I'm not going to not make a pattern that is either way, but I think if you're a beginner, it's good to know when they're really truly beginner friendly patterns and you get a lot of explanation. I don't think you need a lot more explanation for this, but I don't know, if you need some hand holding, maybe try another sweater first and then make this. But I thought it was very easy to understand what's going on. Okay, moving on. Would I make it again? Probably, though I don't know that I want, I want to be able to have a varied wardrobe and not too many high neck things, and there are several other t-shirts I want to make that are high neck, and I don't this is a life problem. Okay, will I use Cashmere Caverns for other t-shirts? That's actually more of the thing that I've been thinking about. Is I've got a couple sweater quantities in Cashmere Caverns, at least one other, maybe two. And one of them is a t-shirt quantity because I have 3 skeins, and one of them is 4. And I think the 3 skein one, I may find something that either I could get away with some lace work or some contrasting color, because I think I'd want to reserve this more for like a seasonal change type thing. So maybe a spring 3/4 sweater type business or something. Same, I mean, I guess for fall either way. But again, maybe something a little more seasonal, because I think dead of summer, I don't know, like this might be too warm. We'll see. Why don't I wear it this year and I'll let you know. Okay, that was a lot of talking about that, but I didn't really talk about the fit before because I hadn't put it on. And so here it is. I enjoy it very much, and I will be wearing it this summer. I finished something else, also a pattern by Iris. So it was like my time to just get through these Iris H patterns. Also, these were the oldest cast-ons I had, so I was just, kicking out these they weren't even lingering. They're just the next ones I needed to finish. So I did just go ahead and finish my Hayley sweater. I just did it. It's so gorgeous. I blocked it also. I don't know if you remember, if I ever held it up before in a podcast, it looked really shrunken in. Now my little cross, what do you call these? Diamonds. These little diamonds are very open looking. They look pretty even. So this is my Hayley sweater. This is a test knit by Iris H. And this will be out September. I'm hoping she puts it out as kind of an early fall pattern, also because this is my Christmas pattern. This is my Christmas sweater. And I really hope somebody else also makes a beautiful red or green of this sweater for Christmas, because it's just so cozy and perfect. It was very much a joy to knit. So I have never made an all over cable sweater before. I've also not made very many v-neck anythings. So just continuing to do v-necks is really helpful for me to conceptualize how they work, and if I ever want to sub them in for other things to understand how to do those equations. But this is a top down. You do the back panel, then you do the front panels, then you pick up in the round. Very normal. The semi set in sleeves, they sit it sits for me right here on my shoulder, so not maybe quite on the edge of my shoulder where yeah, anyway, I think it's pretty close to a set in sleeve. Anywho, yeah, and then there's short row shaping and then your sleeves. It just looks so scrumptious. The back is the same pattern. But what I will say about this being my first all over cable work pattern, it was enjoyable and also pretty easy. So even through the back panel, once I think you do this much of the back panel, 3 full diamonds, the only thing I really had to pay attention to was the frequency of these, which stays the same. These 2 things have 2 separate types of cables, but they both happen at the same cadence. So you just have to pay attention to not missing that row. And the diamonds are really intuitive. Once you do your first diamond, you're like, oh, I know how that works. Both for flat knitting and in the round, I thought it was pretty easy to keep track of where I was. Yes, I did still consult the chart, and she has this charted inside of Stitch Fiddle, so you can just, you know, click through, like there's a progress tracker. I said this before, but be aware that when you refresh your page, it won't keep your progress, so you just have to take a note somewhere of what line you were on. You do have some, you know, you have to repeat pattern or maybe repeat more for your sleeve. I did finish sleeves first and then the body. It sits beautifully. Like I'm going to wear this next week. We'll see if I'll wear it for the whole episode. It's getting warm here, so if it's too hot, I will not, but I'll definitely put it on for you. And I'm just like, I'm in love. It's so great. Mike asked me if this is my favorite sweater ever. Generally speaking, the last thing I finished is my favorite. Just for the most part. It's the thing I'm most excited about. This one I don't think I'll wear much. Maybe once before Christmas time or before the fall. But I am really obsessed. I'm really like, this is my vision come to life. I will say I'll do the size and all the information so we can talk about it really fast. But this is a size E, so also a 5. It's 48 inches. Recommended E is +1 to +4 inches. For me, that's 1. It is made with 4mm needles for the body. I used 4.5 for the sleeves just because of gauge, and 3.5mm for the ribbing. It is made with Cascade BFL in the color 09 red, which is very red. I will say, if you are familiar with any Cascade yarns, this is a touch oranger than Christmas red. Like Christmas red is the truest red I can think of. You know, it's like Christmas truck red, like that's what it looks like. This is a slightly lighter, slightly oranger, but like so minimally. But I did look at them next to each other in the store. This would get me gauged. That was they only have Christmas red in 220, which would have been a little bit too thick. Anyway, so this yarn is 100% BFL wool. It's 262 yards for 100 grams. I washed it. I totally forgot to use conditioner because, you know, just what I forgot. It's a little scratchy still. So I put it on with a V-neck t-shirt underneath of it and I was fine. Like it does not scratch me through it or anything. I did put it on with just a bra and I was like, oh, that's like a little scratchy. So yeah, I mean, I think generally speaking, I probably wear it with a V-neck t-shirt on or like a tank top on just in my life because that's what I do for the most part. But I'm giving you that information now until I wear it, and likely I don't wash my knits super often, but this is one that I likely will try to wear a couple times in the fall and then dunk it again before Christmas so that I give it a little bit extra softening, and I'll remember to do hair conditioner then. And I'll keep you apprised of the situation. So I'm done. I love it. I'm so excited. Okay, let's talk through some projects. The first and oldest now on my needles is my Market Henley. Here's my Market Henley, which I feel like these colors, like, no, they're not the same. Actually, this color is not in here, but it's Pike Place and in a lighter quantity, looks kind of grapefruity. Also, not necessarily a color palette I thought I would love so much, but I love it so much. Okay. This is a test knit also that is due the 1st of August, I think, for Claire Jackson, who is perfectly knotted. It's a top-down waffle stitch Henley. I am in love with it. I had the collar done last week. Honestly, I think all I added was like 2.5 inches of the body. So we won't spend very long on this, but I'm really loving how it looks. I am using my narwhal stitch stoppers or needle stoppers from my dear friend Valerie. She told me the reason she sent me needle stoppers is also because I pull things out of my bag and lose stitches and it makes her anxious because why am I just shoving things in bags? And I was like, yes, I just do it anyway. And I have more of these. So, but I'm trying to use them on more projects. Anyway, here it is. I still have my Hello Lavender stitch marker on here. I did not make quite as much progress on this. I just got sidetracked with a couple of other things. I do need to make progress on it. I still would like to be done with this mid-July, so just in a few weeks. I have a good amount. I mean, it's not a great amount of the body done, but like about halfway of the body. It is supposed to be cropped, though we can add length. But I want to pause body and pick up a sleeve. And I think my new objective and goal is probably to knit everything to cuff. So the body, the sleeves, but have them just on holders until I think I'm gonna be at the cuff. Actually wet block the whole thing. I know that's annoying. I don't really want to block twice. And then finish out just to make sure I actually like the length and I actually like the sleeve length. I am not super worried about it, but I know, like, even with the weight, it's already growing a little bit, but I know it's going to grow at least, you know, at least a bit. So it's annoying because I'm helically knitting, but I think I'll probably just leave one ball attached at each of those places. And, you know, we'll see. It's not really a big deal if I have to weave in 2 more ends or whatever. So that is a size 52-inch bust. It is, which is the finished garment bust. It is supposed to have 4 to 8 positive inches of ease. I'm using 3.25 millimeter needles for the body. I don't remember what I used for the neckline. I would imagine it was a 3. I would imagine it was a 3. And I think I just went down, you know, one size because I think I am using smaller than recommended to get gauge. And I think her recommendation is like just down a size. I am using Explore Knits and Fibers Denali sock on the colorway Flock, which is the special color last year at Flock. And it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams. I actually really like Denali as a base. That's a 2-ply. And it feels different than a 4-ply sock with more nylon in it, which is the Junie and Sai. And it's really like, the Junie and Sai I think will soften up a little. I don't think it'll bloom very much, but it just feels like a little bit sturdier, which obviously that makes sense. There's just a little bit more nylon in it. And I think you can tell in the 4-ply more than you can in a 2-ply. Maybe that's just like what my hands are telling me and that's not real, but I'm going with it. It's fine. Next up is my Theo blanket. That's at the top here. So this is a pattern by Tony Lipsy, who is TL Yarn Crafts. It is a free on her blog crochet pattern. It's a baby blanket. It's going to be crib size. I think it's 36 by 36 is supposed to be the end size. I am at, you know, not that. It's pretty long though. It feels pretty long. It feels like it's maybe 2 feet-ish in a square. So here I am. I finished. Oh, I didn't really put a stitch marker on. My progress keeper is this little blue guy here on the side. So I was like partway through a blue stripe last time we talked. And then I added the rest of that repeat. I have just one more repeat to add. It's supposed to be 4 total. So this is 1, 2, the orange is the last color, 3. I will do that this week, hopefully, even though these rows are getting so long. And I really only picked this up once this week though. So I need to pick it up twice probably to get that done. And then I may start the border or I'll just wait and do the border the week after. But I do want to get this out the door, you know, mid-July-ish. So another thing. I really am loving the color combo. It's just like the most happy, like fun, summery combo. Now, there's no real size on that, right? I don't know, crib size. I just put down crib size in my notes. I'm using a 6 millimeter hook, and I am using various acrylic yarns. So let's walk through my next project. Okay, my next project is the Versa Shawl. I always want to say vice versa, whatever. Who knows? It's Latin. So this is a test knit for my friend Bridget Zhou, who is BZB Knits. She is releasing this pattern in collaboration with La Mercerie and Wee Chickadee. I did see the colorway that's special. It was posted on Instagram this week for Wee Chickadee at Flock. And so I don't know that Wee Chickadee is actually going to, like, if she'll be there, the dyer. or if it's just going to be available in the La Mercerie booth. But I want to say the post said just in the booth. Okay, so I made a good amount of progress, and I have a special, extra thing on here. So this is the right side because of the way I picked up the spine. So there will be another side, and the other side will actually just be this color as the main color on that side, but you know, same color combo. I have very few repeats left, like maybe 3 repeats left. So like, you know, this much. I worked on this a ton yesterday. Oh, I can tell you about yesterday. Yesterday was fun. And I guess really the shape is that it'll go this way because it's a triangle shawl and it's, you know, decreasing on the bottom. I mean, I think it'll make more sense when the whole thing is done. It's super drapey. The brioche is really nice. It's getting really long. And this is supposed to be 106-inch spine. I am doing size 2. And I added these fun little pops of color stripes on this side. Yeah, I just wanted them to pop out. I think actually I have plenty of this hot pink left over. This is my, well, we'll talk about the colors in a second, but this is like the mini, and I have plenty of the mini left. And I think I might do, not in the same place, but somewhere else, maybe even a little bit like closer to the spine, like, you know, this many inches over, do them also facing the front. So they are not on the back side, but so you can see them clearly on this color, which won't be quite as contrasty, you know, as this, but I think it'll look really fun to do it that way. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So yeah, this is what we have. I love it. I love both sides of it. It's great. I am excited this week for sure. I'll finish this side, pick up this side, and at least do a couple of repeats just to get it started. I don't need this to be done until just before flock, but I do want to help Bridget promote this so people buy fiber, because so the Wee Chickadee collaboration is because you can spin a braid and make this. I have a couple of braids I could probably make the smaller size with, which I might do after the fact. But I wanted to get this one done in some fun colors that Bridget helped me pick out anyway. So let's tell you some sizing things. That is the size 2. It's 106-inch spine, wingspan, sorry, 106-inch wingspan. It's made with 3.5 millimeter needles, which is the suggested size. I am using Cascade Heritage Sock in black, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 437 yards for 100 grams. And Moondrake, the light pink, is called, the base is called Sparkle Stardust, and the color is Birthday Cake. It is 80% superfine merino, 15% nep, 5% stellina, and the neps are all rainbow colored, so they're all like really bright and exciting. It's 410 yards for 100 grams, and the mini, she calls it just MSN Mini. There's no color name. It is 60% superwash merino, 20% silk, 20% nylon, 96 yards for 20 grams. And I just love that color. It's so fun. And it is a really nice base to work with, actually. So something to keep in mind. A little bit higher of silk content with the nylon is like really nice, and it's like very springy and it's soft in your hand. Let's talk about, I have so many projects. Sorry if I'm like storming through this. The only one I'm going to skip this week is the Daydreamer, which is my gift knit for my sister-in-law, Lauren. It is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I just didn't pick it up this week. I had other things to go on, and it takes a little bit of time to get through each row. We'll give it some time this weekend for sure, but I just needed to make progress on some things with deadlines, and that one does not have one. Just self-imposed. So I will talk about my color tip tee. This is a pattern by Emily Curtis. It is my second make for my knit along. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me tell you. I am hosting a knit along on Discord for anyone who wants to make Emily Curtis summer patterns. Dad sweaters also welcome. It is not hosted by Emily, but Emily is in the chat. She can see what's going on. She just got back from a trip, I think, so or you know, a couple weeks ago, so she is back in the stateside, and hopefully she'll be able to join our next happy hour call. she's also donating some patterns. So we're going to do a drawing at the end of the knit along for a couple of giveaway things, some yarn, some free patterns, and the patterns are going to be gifted by Emily because she's the best. So I am making the color tip tee. I am right at this moment thinking it will be tipless, but I have a really good idea for potential if I change my mind. It is a top down. It looks so tiny. I swear to you, it's mostly because it's just like rolled up really badly. Like this does actually have like another 1.5 inches on it. It just looks really small. I did break my yarn for this, but if I need to add a couple more whole, like, in like 1 inch or a couple more rows before I join, I can do that. I mean, and obviously this, I'm not even joined in the front and I have lots of front to knit. So let's get there when we get there. It is a set in sleeve top though. So it does look little because I've just been done so many drop shoulders lately and they're much, much bigger. This is close to where my shoulders are. Like this is not a lie. You know, I don't want to be in my armpit. I want to be right next to it. And that's pretty good. I'm not quite on gauge. I did gauge swatch. I knew it was going to be a little bit small, which is why the size that I'm making is bigger and is going to end up being pretty close to fitted for me. So this, I'm making a size 6. The end size should be 52 inches, which would have a little bit of drop on my shoulders, but I am going to end up probably around 46 and a little bit. So it'll actually have 1 inch of negative ease. The recommended ease is 4 positive inches though at your bust. Though this pattern is very fun and you can learn a lot of things about just general construction because she also has options for broad shoulders. So if your shoulders are wider than your chest, which happens for a lot of people, most patterns don't address that. And sometimes short row shaping can help a little bit, but sometimes it just like they pull strangely so that you get a lot of extra like armpit fabric because you're giving yourself more fabric than you need at your bust, or they're pulling on your shoulders because they're the right size for your bust but not the right size for your shoulders. Anyway, so she has this great modification. It's not very hard to do, and yeah, I'm just making a single straight size, no broad shoulders, and I have not a great gauge on this. This will stretch a little bit. I don't think it's gonna like block bigger, and it'll be more fitted, and I think that's fine. So I am using 3.25 millimeter needles for the body. I don't know what I'm gonna do for finishing. I think that the collar is actually like a folded collar. I don't know that I'll do that. If I do regular ribbing at the collar, I'll probably just bind off with tubular. We'll see. We'll see how I feel once I get to it. But I know for like the edges of the t-shirt sleeves, like if I don't do a different color, I may make them folded hems. I kind of like that look. I don't know, you guys. We'll see. We'll see how ambitious I'm feeling. Anyway, this is fingering weight yarn. That's what the base is called. In Learning to Fly, which is Junie and Sai. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 462 yards for 100 grams. It's a pretty light fingering. The color is just like absolutely, it's so gorgeous. I love it so much. I'm so excited. So here's where I was last week. Do I have a marker on? I actually don't think I have one on here. I'll put one on this week. But I had done part of the back, all of the back. I don't think I'd done all of the back. I think I'd done most of the back. And I picked up the fronts. I redid some of the math, which we'll talk about in a second. And I am halfway on this, on my right side. And then I will join and I will knit more to make it, you know, to make the whole rest of the front. This is only modified in that I decided I didn't want quite as high of a neckline because again, this is pretty high. Yeah, I just don't want them all to be this close to my neck. So I'm going to give myself just a slightly smaller scoop. Like it's not even going to be a ton. It's just going to be like 1 inch or so. It is the way you do this, because these are charted increases, like as in she writes how many rows you're going to have in total, and each row tells you if you're straight knitting, increasing which side, you know, both, whatever. This is going to be so the same shaping. I just pushed the first increases back by like 10 or so rows, and so they will happen a little bit faster. So it'll be slightly more like of this shape, you know, not a square neck, but I don't know what to call that. So that's the only change. I really love this color. Like, I'm so excited for this knit. So I'll tell you what I'm thinking might be the contrast color when I show that in a second. The knit along goes until flock, and I'm really hoping to have that done before then. I already have one knit done, the stripy turtle tank. I'd like to have this for more of the summer though. It's finally getting warm here. Undoubtedly we'll have another couple of rainy days next week, and then we'll get into our very nice stretch for the summer. So sometime out, you know, yeah, we'll have it to wear for at least part of the summer. The next thing I have to share with you is my sheep camp. Oh, you guys, I could not put this knit down. I was just so in love with it, not only because I liked the color chart, it was fun and engaging and I wanted to get it done, but also because these colors are so good. This yarn is so soft, and I just overall was having the best time. So I put my marker in. Hold on, I have a ball of yarn in here and it's making it heavy. I put my marker in here. I'll just show you that last week. Okay, this is a cute little one from Hello Lavender. And then I just killed it. I just already split for sleeves. Just finished the whole color chart so fast. I really do love this color chart. I love it a lot. I think it's really fun. I did have somebody tell me that sometimes, so I have not made this for myself, and one of the worries is because some of the Ravelry projects note that like it makes the armpit, the colorwork chart makes the armpit sit kind of low. I do like when colorwork charts have more than one option, because across all your sizes, like this on a really small person is going to give you a big armhole depth that you probably don't need all that length. On my size, like this is a 3. So it's a little smaller than I'd make for me, but like this actually sits pretty okay. What I think the change, someone messaged and said that the ones they liked best had less color work. That would be really easy, is you just don't do quite as many of these, and you just start this part of the chart like 1 or 2 early, and then you just continue knitting until the side, you know, until the inches you need, but you could adjust your inches a little bit more easily there. I think probably like this is a size, you know, medium. The medium large size probably works best, this color chart. And again, if you have you need a deep yoke depth, then you could probably just add another one of these triangles. They're only 4 rows. So like, you know, it's not giving you a ton of extra length, but it could give you an inch or more. Anywho, that's my suggestion. Not that anyone asked for it. That's the back though. This is the front. It's so fun. Someone called this like a neon grapefruit, and I think it is. It is a pink leaning orange, but I would definitely call this like more salmony than it is like, or coral, like a bright coral. That's a good color. It's a bright coral. But it's definitely more pink than this, but not a true pink. Like next to pink pinks, it looks orangey. Okay. Color work done. The color work looks pretty good. I definitely think it will relax when it's washed, especially these like little dudes here, because you have 2 increases inside of these white sections, and that's why I think they look a little bit funny. I think that'll help, like washing it will relax it. And I'm on the body, and I've done, you know, an inch and a little bit or so, and I will just keep trucking through and try to slam this out super fast. There's no color work anywhere else. I don't think the sleeves will not be a challenge. Like, yeah, just I'm excited this sample is going so quickly. So that is a sample for Witchfire Fibers. And those are colors I can share because those are colors that are already out. I anticipate she'll be bringing those to flock, since I need to get this done before flock. It is a size 3. Oh, sorry. I said this is the sheep cam sweater, but it's by Jennifer Berg, who is Native Knitter on Instagram. It's a size 3. It's a 45.25 inch bust. So I'd probably do one size bigger. Recommended ease is 6 to 8 inches. I don't know that I would do all of that extra for color work for myself, but who knows. I'm using 4mm needles for the, I used 4mm needles for the neck. I'll also use it for the cuffs. The neck is a rolled neck, so you just do several rows with the smaller needle and then go to the big one. And 4.5 needles for the body. 4.5mm needles for the body. And that is her classic DK yarn, which is 100% superwash merino. It's so soft. Seriously, it's so soft and plump. It's 231 yards for 100 grams, and the colors are Lighted Up, which is the white color, and Through Love. Those are both Crescent City colorways from her Mask Made Me Cry collection that came out in the spring. I'm really hoping, so she says all yarn orders will be done on time the middle of next week, the end of next week. I'm super hoping mine get out in the mail before the very last order, but mine will be here soon. And then I can show you what I bought and for what. The dog is running around like a crazy dog. I can hear her. Okay. I made a lot of progress on my other heavier weight knit. And I don't know, maybe that's a sign that I just needed a break from some fingering weight things. I'm feeling like I have my yarn knitting mojo back, but I did need this break. It was crucial. I feel better. My hands feel better. And I got a ton of progress done the other night on my Ever After sweater. This is also a test knit for Claire Jackson, Perfectly Knotted. It will be coming out later. It's not due until September 1st. So, you know, mid-September or something like that pattern. Last week I was here. I had just started the back panel. I'd done the short row shaping and like maybe nothing else, or maybe a couple of rows. I think maybe nothing else. So I finished the back panel. I did the front cast on, which you actually do with some garter stitch rows, which I actually really love this detail. That's so fun. And did the whole front, and I joined. And I am like 2 or 3 rows joined. So very little that I joined, but it was late and I had to stop. I'm really loving it. It's very, this color is called Wild Terrain, and it's very like, it's a cool leaning like mud color because like that brown is like really like chocolatey, almost brown. I really love it though. I'm excited to wear it. This is like as neutral as I would get, and so, or like, you know, brownish as I should get. And so yeah, it'll be really fabulous. I think I probably do a little bit of the body this week, and then I might just do the neckline, because I just hate looking at unfinished necklines, and you need them done before you do sleeves anyway, and I just feel like it really polishes things up for you pretty quickly. So I will likely do that. If I get really wild, I'll do several inches of body and then just do the sleeve, like start a sleeve already, to get it moving pretty quickly. What I will say is this or honestly probably this will be my desk knit. Actually, maybe I'll make the sheep camp my desk knit, because this I am helically knitting and that I am not. So I don't have to think at all for that. And this one I just have to catch. That's probably what I'll do. But I'll get some stuff done this week. It's lovely. I really enjoy this color. And this is a older colorway by Erin, who runs Back Loop Yarn and Fiber. She did change the name of her business slightly. Used to just be called Back Loop Yarn Co., and now it's Back Loop Yarn and Fiber, because she's been dyeing fiber, but she's just going to probably make that a more regular part of her shop. I posted finally my Barbie core yarn, and I did tag her, and she was like, okay, I need to go dye more fiber now. Like, this is so great. And I really, you know, obviously love that. So that is a 54-inch bust. It is a drop shoulder worsted weight sweater. There's not a lot other, like, I think it's gonna have some nice shaping, and like I think the neckline looks pretty nice, but otherwise it's like a pretty standard, pretty basic sweater. That is made with 5mm needles, probably a smaller needle for the ribbing. I already talked about the yarn, but that base is basic worsted, her basic worsted, which is 100% superwash merino. It's 218 yards per 100 grams. It's a really lovely base. Like, it's honestly, I will say, there's something about Jess's base for Witchfire Fibers that is softer as 100% superwash merino, her DK, than the Wild Terrain. But not like it's not soft. Both soft, but I've never felt 100% superwash merino. Like, I definitely thought there was cashmere in that. It's so soft. So I do have one more cast on, and that cast on is another sample knit. Yes, you're right. I told you I have a new sample knit that's just yarn I haven't cast on yet. I have two, because, like, I don't know what my life is. Don't ask me. I said yes to a sample knit for La Mercerie. This is not a secret. This is yarn that was out last year, so it was a secret last year. But they still have this Lobby and Amy Autumn Hydrangea, which is the shop color from Lobby and Amy. They also have a shop base. So the Merino Twist is not available anywhere else, or it's like, at least it's not available from Lobby and Amy website. You can get it at Bainbridge Island at La Mercerie. And she has other colors than this color, but this is the color that Amy designed for Jess. It's really lovely. I'll give you a closer look. It's got this, like, this is super light. It's light pink. It is definitely pink live, but it's really, really light. And you get these like nice, I don't know, rosy hues throughout. And then these speckles are like really dark blue. I don't know, you can kind of see up here, like, this is not in the knit, but yeah, that's like it's like a blue purple, and there are some gold speckles in here too. So it's really, yeah, it's really nice. This sample is going to be a Elton Pullover by Joji Locatelli. It is a drop shoulder striped pullover. Has some interesting neck shaping, like just done a slightly different way for the neck shaping. Like I made basically, it's like two little triangles, so I think it's so that the neck doesn't sit too high, because you cast these on after you have some height already here. So it's not pulling this shape, it's pulling this shape. You know, slight changes and tweaks. It's a really, really lightweight, so it's fingering held single, and then also a Surrey held single striped sweater. So I have one stripe done for you, and I started the second. I am not helically knitting this because it's just really not worth it with yarn management down the side and in the body. But I think, like, I'm not going to have any weird color pulling because the stripes are really thin. It's really pretty, and I already, like, it's very dreamy. I didn't know I liked this pattern, but I, like, definitely could see myself making this for me. The gauge, yes, it is, you know, fingering a Surrey held single, but the gauge is super open. I was telling Sylvan this, and she was like, oh, I kind of hate that. But the open gauge is the same size needle, but the sleeves are a different gauge, because you're not supposed to block it open. You're supposed to block them like lengthwise, just because it looks better. And then, and also probably so your fingers, like, it's not too open that you like get stuck when you're getting in it. But this, you're supposed to block it wide, so you're giving yourself more. And I think I'm using a 3-point, well, I'm holding it in my hand, but yeah, I'm using a 3.5mm needle, which, you know, I've just made a bunch of finger and weight things. They're all 3.25. So just that little bit extra, like, does give you some extra air in your fabric. So I'm really excited. I don't know. I do have to get this done relatively quickly. I'm not in a super rush, but I do think I'll probably make quite a lot of progress on this weekend as well, just to get it done. This is a size 4. It is 56-inch bust. Again, pretty widely blocked, and it's not a lot of stitches. Like, I went through the pattern and I was like, I'm not that worried about it, but it is supposed to have 16 inches of positive ease, so it is supposed to be very, part of that is because it's so light and airy, it'll be like very drapey on you. And Hohi's sample, which you would have seen when I put the picture up, is like the colors are almost like, it doesn't look like there are stripes. This one is going to be more obviously, like if Jess had sent something, or Nikki or whoever sent this to me, I'd pick something slightly pinker, like possibly you wouldn't notice the stripes, but I still think I like the idea that the stripes are a little more distinct, because I don't know, I just feel like that's fun. The other, her sample in the pattern photos looks like it's just kind of one color with some speckles, which is also nice, but I think like I would probably go for something with a little bit more like this. Oh, let's talk about yarns. So this is what it looks like in the ball, the autumn hydrangea. It's just such a pretty color. Like it has so many different pinks in it. This is 465 yards for 100 grams. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Here, I'll pull out the fluff. The fluff is something I've not used before. This is called Berenice. It is a, this is a Durarum Natura fluff yarn. It is 55% super kid mohair, 25% silk, 20% wool. So I think the wool also helps make it fluffy, which makes it like a 75% fluffiness maybe. But I don't know if it's like, I would imagine the cord is still just the silk, but maybe it's the cord is silk and wool. I'm not really sure where the wool comes in, but it does feel very fluffy. It feels not prickly at all. I think I called it Surrey. It's not Surrey. It feels almost more like Surrey, and I think the way that it's knitting is a little bit more like Surrey than mohair. And maybe, yeah, maybe it is because the wool's a little fluffy. I don't know. I guess it's not as thick as Surrey, for sure, even in this one stripe that's done. I don't know. I like it though. So the color of this one here is called Avoine, which is oats in French, and it's an oaty color, but like to me, I don't know if you guys can tell, it's probably the lighting in here, like with my eyeballs it does look like a really soft pink, and like to me oats is like a more of a brown leaning color, but that's what this is called. It's very nice. It's something that I could potentially see myself buying some of this base for a sweater from La Mercerie. As I like to keep exploring my fluff options that are not Surrey for the times I want a lighter coverage. So, oh, I almost put this away, but I did want to show you. Here's my current thought of I have some of this still in my stash, just a little bit. If I did want to do any kind of tips, I actually love the idea of this, like another variegated thing as my tips. Probably not my collar, but maybe my cuffs, maybe even just my arm cuffs and a pocket cuff, not the whole pocket. I don't know, maybe it does have like this light pink plus the yellow, plus it's a lot of this bluey teal color, and this has those color speckles, and like, I don't know, it could be fun. I still am not convinced that I even want to do that. I have to see more of the t-shirt to decide. Acquisitions. I got the yarn for that sample. I also got the yarn for another sample. Here's the sample I'm going to be making. A tessellated pullover. Am I crazy to make this as a sample? A little bit. I'm making this in Coley's size. She's requesting this sample in a size 7. So it's going to be more even knitting than I would do for myself, which will just prove to me whether I really like this pattern or not. Tessellated pullover, sorry, the tessellated vest is still on my Make 12 list. But I'm really excited about this collection. I can't tell you what the theme is, but you are gonna love it. And I knew I wanted to use more than one colors for a sample, so I picked the one with the most colors. And I don't have to do this before flock. I've got until September. The rough timeline is that she'll start showing colorways mid-August-ish. And the collection launches in September. There's gonna be a couple of collaborative dyers. I'm not gonna tell you who they are. Like she's gonna feature, just the same way as like Red Door has done with Allie from Explore Knits and Fibers. You know, like Allie did one color and Red Door Kate did the rest. Something like that, right? There's gonna be a lot of colors, like 20 plus, 26, I think. Which is a lot. It's a lot of colors. I'm so excited for what I've seen so far. I've also gotten to like, I've sneak peeked a couple other things from Coley, and I can't show you these colors, but I'm gonna hold this up just so you can see how much yarn I have. Okay, we're black and white now. It's a lot of colors. So as you can tell, even through black and white, this is going to be the main color. And then as a tessellate, it has like the big bottom cuff, and it is bottom up. Then these two become sort of like the inside mosaic colors. There are two different colors here. So it's 3 colors total. It's so fun. The only thing I'm going to tell you as a sneak peek, because I will be able to share them once they're on her grid. So I may be done quite a lot of this knit before you get to see any of it in color. So it's going to be black and white. I'm sorry about that, but she wants to have samples. You know, she's not going to be releasing colors for a very, very long time. So she wants the samples ready, and it is what it is. I would rather tell you about the make and have it be black and white than just never tell you about it, or do a big release at the end, because I can tell you I'm making something. I can tell you the yarn is coming. I just can't show you. I have not cast it on yet. I did get that also earlier in the week, but you know, priorities, it's fine. It is, what I will say, this is the only spoiler I can give you, is that they are not colors that I would likely use for myself. So it's very fun to make a project in something that's, I'm sure there are going to be colors in this collection. I'm 100% positive. I will absolutely love. I like these colors a lot. I just wouldn't have a garment for myself in them. So you can take that information for yourself. Okay, let's talk about books real fast. I read 3 books this week, and I started one more, and I think that's all. So I finished Happily Never After, which is a Lynn Painter book. I'm like on a Lynn Painter kick. I just really love her writing style. I like her character development. I like the stories are generally for romance, you know, which is gonna hopefully give us a happy ever after and not tons, and it's kind of the same anyway. That's why we read them and we love them. I still think she has some good twists and turns, or just like the emotional upsets are not usually just like very dumb, and that's a plus. So Happily Never After, again, is about Sophie, who has her wedding interrupted by a for-hire interrupter who's named Max. Then they end up going into, you know, business together. It's not really business. They don't like try to take money for it, but they go and break up other weddings. It's pretty funny. The reasons that people are having their wedding broken up is pretty interesting and not always the same. It's not like just all cheaters or something like that. There's just other reasons. And it's, yeah, so interesting. So, and that was very fun. And obviously, you know, there's some to do, but they, you know, find each other. So that one was good. And I had been in the middle of that, or towards the end last week. I read number 5 of the Graceling Realm series, which is called Seasparrow. So this book came out, I think, in 2022, which is why I'm not sure that this series is over. So it's the 5th book. She wrote the first 3 in the early 2000s, and then took like 10 years and then wrote 4 and 5. And so maybe that makes sense now, how like in 1 was Katza and Poe. 2 was Fire, which was the 50 years before, and then they come all together in 3, which was Bitter Blue, and I guess she felt like that was unfinished. And so she added 4 and 5, which expand the world that we're talking about, bring in new political issues, bring in new just like life and world issues, and maybe that's which one to explore, because it's a pretty heavy topic of the other issue that is brought up in 4. But then 5 is really interesting. So 4, like I said last week, is in Winterkeep, and they go to this new land. So Bitter Blue and her team go to this new land, And then 5 is really just them coming back. The whole book is them coming back because they get shipwrecked. And it was a really interesting topic. It was really interesting how she kind of dealt with like the emotional aftermath of like going through something really hard with a group of people who maybe are not your people, and sort of what happens when the group breaks up, or like just how people may feel. It was a cool take and just way to think about that problem. My main issue with it as a book was it felt like the most YA of all of the books, and not because there wasn't really any romance, but because the character felt like the most emotionally stunted. And so some of the decisions she was making, like you understand she's making them because she's emotionally stunted, etc., but also feels more aggravating. That's just like, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Overall, I still really like the series. It's not like I didn't like the book. I think it was my least favorite. And also because the very beginning was a little bit slow and they were just on this boat for a long time. And I was like, who cares that they're on this boat? But there were some really cute parts of it too. So yeah, it was good. So the last book I read this week was Savor by Tarah DeWitt. This is my second Tarah DeWitt book. The other one I read before was Funny Feelings, which is the one about the comedians. I just read that the other month and I really enjoyed that book. I very much like this one too. I probably read a couple more of her books. This one was almost a tearjerker. It was good. The premise is just someone moves to a small town from New York City for the summer, knowing they're there just for the summer. This person is also like the guardian to a minor who, like, his niece. There's a lot of dealings with loss and grief in this, which is a little bit heavy, but I think she does a really good job of adding that in, making it feel realistic, but not just dwelling on it as like the only emotional piece of it. And the quirky neighbor from, next to the Airbnb that he and his niece are renting. She does a great cast of characters. Like the people in the town, they're maybe a little bit more one note-ish than some other authors who can really just like bring all those side characters to life. But they were entertaining. It was just like, it felt like a merry band of people in this small town. And the premise is just like, do they go for it even knowing that it's short term? I'll leave you with that. I really liked it. I thought it was great. Okay. And then for the Yarnish book club, I think that's what she's calling it. Anna is running through Stitches and Stories or whatever her Instagram is. Anyway, the book for this next book, which it's more than a month. I think we get like 2 months between. And we really just get on happy hour and talk about the book for a little and knit together, is called What the River Knows. And it's a book by Isabel Ibañez, and it's very interesting. It is set in the 1880s. And there's magic in the world, but I would say the world otherwise is as we knew it. The difference is that there are like some magical objects. There's no magic being practiced anymore, but there are some magical objects, like objects that just like when magic was happening around them and maybe even to them, there was, sorry, that was my dog. There was some magic that like clung to these objects. So it's an interesting premise, and those things are being explored. And anyway, the main character, her parents were in love with Egypt, and she's from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, and her parents spent half the year of every year in Egypt, and she never got to go. And then they die under mysterious circumstances, and she wants to solve their mystery, and she goes to Egypt by herself. There are people that she knows that are there, but like it's a very power move for a young woman, unmarried woman of the 1880s. And they acknowledge that. Like, that's not just me saying that. That's like part of the story. Her being very headstrong and not even just ahead of her times. Like, she's conforming to certain things, but not to others. It's got really high reviews. So far, I really like it. It's an interesting story. It's not something I think I would have picked up on my own, maybe, but I am enjoying it. So we'll see how that goes. I need to sign off now. I don't have much else to share, I think. So many projects. So many projects. Too many samples. I really shouldn't have said yes to everybody, but honestly, at some point it becomes like people that you really love to work with, and I mean, I'm just doing it anyway. It's fine. I'm not mad about it. I just need to like, I want to make some stuff for me too. I do love it as a tester for patterns too, even though it's sort of like the longest way ever to test a pattern. So today, Mike and I did get to go to the PGA Women's Championship, just the first round. We won't go to the rest of the weekend. It was very fun. I don't golf. I've never golfed. I've never really walked around a golf course. Like, I've seen golf course. I've walked adjacent to one or two. My in-laws live right next to a golf course, but I've not walked the cart paths and seen people play in real life. We do watch a lot of golf on TV. It was very fun supporting the women, especially on the slowest day that they're going to have. There'll probably be a lot more people there tomorrow and over the weekend. But I had fun. We had a great time. At least I know things about golf, so it wasn't like really boring for me. Like, I definitely knew what was happening. It was really fun. So yesterday, though, was a holiday, and I left the house the whole day, met up with Ariel and Sylvan, who also were not working, and just knit. We knit in public all day long. We were at 2 different restaurants. We just had a great time out of the house, hanging out together. It was the best. I got a lot of progress done, and we just got to like brainstorm and talk about a lot of knitting things, because why not? It's what we love to do. Okay, there's a lot of chaos happening in my house, so I really do need to head off. Yeah, I'm hoping to get this episode posted sometime early Friday morning-ish, before lunch, hopefully. So I will hopefully get to hear from all of you. Please let me know what you're working on. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything. If you have questions about sample knitting, let me know. Any of the things, and always am available on Instagram. Give me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to y'all next week. Bye.